Hey everybody, what's up? It's the Colonel Hector Bravado, Starkville, Colorado. There's a face for radio. Not sure what the hell happened there. Anyway, let's talk about some crimes. I'm going to set the plate for you. It's about 11 a.m. on a late spring morning in Starkville. Best time of the year. It's when the house naturally conditions to the ideal temperature. I'm right in the fat part of it. Second cup of coffee, and I was smart enough to turn down every obligation. Cromwell Street by the Wise Guys came up on shuffle back to back with Nobody Hurts You by Graham Parker, and I'm just sitting there stunned by my own good taste, my own good fortune, and surpassing luck. Why not make my orange chicken for lunch? Now, orange chicken shouldn't be complicated. If you look at it, a decent sauce is not that hard, and you're halfway there if you just use fresh squeezed orange juice and fresh garlic. And even I know how to velvet chicken. It's not that hard. So I'm sitting there cooking it down, utterly in a trance of joy. And it's listening to the Wise Guys' supremely clean beats that I failed to notice the young man in my kitchen. Now, I don't own a handgun, but because of where I live, I sort of assume I get a force field by extension. You don't come out there in the quasi-country and fuck around with people. I just assume people think I'm nuts and armed when I'm only the first. Anyway, I stop, and the hi-hat from Cromwell Street was sizzling like bacon. This young dude who has obviously spent too many hours in cramped apartments on the wrong medication or off the right ones, bandana up over his face, and he's got what I'm pretty sure is one of those 1911 Colt 45s pointed right at my face. I'm not a fighter. My limbs usually turn to liquid and these kind of things, and I can't think, but it's right at this very moment that the oils from the aromatics start to release. And I looked in his eyes, and I looked into the black circle at the end of the gun, and I just kind of kept cooking and told him, "Hey, how you doing, dude?" And he kind of waved the gun around, pushed me on the shoulder with his free hand, and everything got real slow and vivid. And I said, "Listen, I don't have a lot, couple things. One, if you're going to run up in somebody's house, you should probably take the gun off safety, for one. Two, you might want to try a magazine. There's nothing in the handle. Keep waving it around. You're like asking me to notice it. Three, you don't look like you've eaten in a while. Tell you what, you can keep the gun. Sit down. We're going to have some orange chicken. What do you think about that?" Turns out his name was Dusty, or Dustin. It changed from sentence to sentence. And we sat down and ate the orange chicken. And he kept the gun on the table. He didn't take off his bandana mask either. He was just shoving bites under it. It looked very strange, but he was wolfing it. And it's about this time I'm like, okay, let's feed this kid. See what happens. We just sit there and eat for a while. Fork in one hand, gun resting on top of the table, still pointed at me, empty. Nonetheless, it's a gun. Makes him feel good to have it. And finally, forgetting himself in the perfection of that orange chicken, which is, again, simple to make, and it might save your life. He picks the gun back up. Like, we haven't already talked about this. He's like, "Now what?" I'm like, "Well, I reckon we better take a little tour of the house so you can get all the shit you want." And he puts the bandana back up, and we start going room to room. And he gets some of my prescriptions. He takes a hat, one of the hats I liked. I had my money clip sitting under the liquor cabinet. He had that. Then he wants a tour of the auxiliary room. I'm like, "Sure, man, whatever you want, man, you got it. I'm not gonna send you away with an empty stomach and empty pockets." It was a deal. I said, "You try the orange chicken, then you have whatever you want." And we walk into the auxiliary room where I don't keep much outside of stacks and stacks of hobby board games. And he's ripping shit off the hanger in my closet, and he stops as he sees the gigantic plastic tub I have that's entirely filled with base sets and expansion pack and goodies from the Warhammer 40,000 Conquest The Card Game, which was a living card game put out by Fantasy Flight in conjunction with Games Workshop. And he's kind of muttering. I can't kind of tell if Dustine is happy or not. But, he's like, "What's that, magic or something?" I'm like, "Dude, we don't eat shitty orange chicken in this house. And we don't play that stupid chicken McNugget-ass game in here either. You want to battle with the deck, this is how you do it." And he sets his gun down and just starts going through the decks. And I think he's calmed down enough to realize it's about Warhammer. He's like, "Oh shit, dude, is this orcs?" I'm like, yeah. Got 20 decks built. Pretty good, too. So we're playing. I don't know. I don't think Dustin was at full capacity. And like a lot of people, he seemed to know enough about trading card games to kind of get the flow of stuff. But the command phase, that one kept throwing him. I let him play my Nosdrag Orc deck. It has a basic spinal column of like 8 economic cards. If you get one of those in the first draw, pretty much all you have to do after that is just learn some basic combos while your orcs pound the shit out of everybody. I picked up one of my Eldar decks. Didn't try entirely too hard because it was distracting, being robbed and trying to teach the game at the same time. I think it was sometime around the third turn. He was doing pretty good. He had killer cans out, and he was starting to get the timing of some of the cards, and he was like, a spell breaks. I don't know, maybe he just finished some crucial point of digestion that was slowly turning into a drug withdrawal. I don't know. And at this point, I wasn't paying attention. Dude, no one knocks on my front door. I don't even go and ever look out that door. And he's like, I got to get my shit and go. My boys are out there in the ride. You'd want me going and getting them. And I'm like, dude, I got better decks than this and plenty of chicken. You go get whoever the fuck you want. And he takes my hat and my money clip and my meds and a Bluetooth speaker that doesn't work. And he's out the door. And I look out and I see like a black late 90s Dodge Durango with his boys in it, one in the cab, one in the bed. And sure enough, they're all walking back up to the house. So here I am, velveting more chicken, them still getting mixed up about their code names and code words and shit. I take out a couple of meaner decks to let them know what's up, get some rivalries going. And, if you're a little skeptical at this juncture, I don't blame you, but strap in, because next Saturday at 11 a.m. sharp, I get home invaded again. And they come in demanding chicken in Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. Anyway, his buddies, Rudy, and I think the other one's Diego, they still leave their masks on. Diego's confused. Anyway, they show up Saturday, and we run decks. Is there a moral to this story? If there is, I guess it's stay the fuck out of Starkville, unless you're craving Asian food or you really need your ass beat at Warhammer 40,000 Conquest The Card Game. Next Saturday, we're going to do a tournament. Until then, I remain your vigilant country friend, the Colonel Hector Bravado in Starkville, Colorado. May you fight long and well.